Hello again. In the second video, or this second installment of my thoughts on, I am going to be talking about my thoughts on being different. Now, what do I mean by that? How exactly do I feel I am different? Well, basically, this idea has been brewing for a while. This YouTube video, as many do, and this one's actually come to fruition today. The three main ways I feel I am quite different and stand alone in this life are: one, because of my religion; two, my traditional views; and three, my unusual opinions. I've always felt different in my life. I feel different now, approaching 30. I just feel like I've been quite a one-off and quite a unique person, and I mean that in the dual sense, in that I think it's a good thing, and also in sort of kind of a bad way. It's not good to be too different, it's not good to be too standalone. It leads to isolation, it leads to negativity and unwanted consequences. However, I'm just going to be having a little monologue, as you do on the YouTube, about these three areas, not in any great depth, just briefly touching on it. So first of all, why is it so different being a Jehovah's Witness? Well, we are a small religion. There are only about 8 to 8.5 million of us worldwide. Obviously, that doesn't even touch the population of the UK, so that's a very, very small percentage of the world's population. I have been a Jehovah's Witness all my life. I've identified with it, and when I say all my life, Jehovah's Witnesses don't do christenings like certain other religions, so we're not exactly born into it. You can be raised as one, but the decision will ultimately lie with you, and then you get baptized, which I did at the age of 18. So when you can decide for yourself, you accept God's requirements, it's what you want to do, then you do it. And I've just always identified with it, with the teachings. Jehovah's Witnesses used to be known as the International Bible Students, and that was our name before adopting Jehovah's Witnesses. So many people are confused as to what it actually means. Jehovah is God's name in the Bible, or Yahweh. You're given the name of God with a series of letters that basically corresponds to a Y, H, W, and H. So some people say it's Yahweh, but the common version of saying it in the Western world is Jehovah. So it's God's name, and we view ourselves as his witnesses because we're telling people about Jehovah God when we go and preach XYZ. So yeah, we're basically just staunch believers of everything the Bible says, and we believe it's God's word. That's it. But this video isn't about, I'm not aiming this as a learn about my religion thing. No, what I mean is, so the ways it makes you different, obviously most religious people can probably identify with this, in things like moral standards, keeping apart from politics, and the fact that you believe in God, and you reject the fact that we just mindlessly evolved from monkeys and there is no purpose. It's like, no, you believe there's a purpose. So school obviously did present challenges in a way, but I mainly found high school, let's talk about, to be honest, because that's when you mainly notice the differences between you and your peers, at the age of sort of 11 to 18. I found it to be a protection to let everybody know that I was a Jehovah's Witness, because once they knew, then, and they could see that I was strong in it and I believed it, they didn't bother me with anything. I was never offered cigarettes, I was never offered drugs, I was not in that crowd of people, I was not in that circle, and it was never a problem for me. So that's what I really like about it, the fact that it was a protection, and I did believe in it. So I'll just mention one incident which is going to really help you to understand. So there was a boy who also went to my high school who identified, or people knew him as, a Jehovah's Witness. However, people also knew that he was a smoker, a drinker, and swore a lot. So there was some confusion as to, obviously, people knowing me as a Jehovah's Witness and my conduct. And of course, I'm not saying Jehovah's Witnesses are perfect, because we're not, but we do generally all believe in the same standards. Obviously, we fall short because we're sinful humans like anyone else, but we have the standards that we know to be right, and we do, if we are a serious Jehovah's Witness, we do try to hold to them. So this boy who was known as a witness was obviously not living as witnesses are known to, whereas I generally was. You know, not saying I was better than him or anything, I'm just saying the facts. So basically, one drama lesson, somebody asked me about this when we'd been sent off by the teacher into another room to work on our sketch. Somebody asked me about this boy, and I had to explain, as I'm going to explain to you now, that this boy was not a Jehovah's Witness. He had witness parents. So, whilst they had brought him up with certain standards and beliefs, he had rejected them by his current conduct and shown that he wasn't living in the way that witnesses do, and so he wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. Whereas, even though I was not baptized at this stage in my high school life, obviously I was identifying as a Jehovah's Witness. So that cleared it up for a lot of people, and I think that helped them to kind of see that, you know, it's not the same as other religions who maybe christen you in that religion, so you feel you have to say you are it, even though maybe you don't believe it anymore, you know, and then you cast it off, and then but you still say you are it because your parents are. I mean, I never really put much store by that. I've always thought, no, you make your own decisions as a person, and you know, if you identify with a religion and you believe in it, then yeah, say you are it. If not, then don't say you are. Don't say you are a member of a certain religion, but then by your lifestyle show that you're not. You know? So that's what I think the problem is with labels, you know. Basically, I've always had the respect for authority coming from the Bible, and that I believe there's a God. I believe he should be worshipped in the way that Jehovah's Witnesses do. So that's it. Now, it makes me very different with obviously things like moral standards in the world and a lot of unpopular beliefs, which I'm sure you will all know about. It's just pretty standard what the Bible says on, you know, marriage being the place for intimacy and XYZ. So I don't need to go into it, but yeah, it obviously makes me feel very different, and I've always been very proud of it and very grateful because it's protected me from a lot of unhealthy things, not protected me from everything because life happens, but in the main, obviously, it's made me different and stand out my whole life, and I love that. And the fact that close members of my family now have cast it off, I'm very put out about and not happy about, but there's nothing you can do about other people. You just live your life the way you see fit. People, don't they? So, yeah, there we go. Moving on to, secondly, my traditional views. People might have noticed from the channel already, I am seriously traditional. Obviously, this is going to probably stem from my religious upbringing as well, but I'm such a believer in the male and female traditional roles. I have always loved the idea of being a wife and a mother and a homemaker, not a career. I've never seen myself in a career, even though when I was younger, maybe like 13, going back younger days, I've thought about being an actress, or I've thought about being a fashion designer, or maybe something to do with languages, as my love for languages grew, because I did attend a language college school. Basically, as I progressed from that, I was very set in what I wanted to do in life, and that was be a wife and mother. However, as we know, to be a wife and mother, you need a key thing, and that's a man. You need a husband to be a wife, and then to have the children in the religious setup, obviously. I know you can have children without a husband, in the world's view, but not in mine. So, and not in what I believe obviously is God's. So that's not worked out. And yes, when the plan A goes and there's no plan B, that's when you come a cropper. It's like, well, I'm nearly 30 and I'm probably not going to get what I want. So what do I do now? I don't have progression in a career and I'm not earning enough money to support myself on my own. Okay, that's a challenge for another day and for another video to talk about. So basically, what I attribute this traditional role of women to be like is from familial role models, particularly as for most women and girls, I would suggest my mother. So I saw my mother as a role model in the way she conducted herself. You know, she married at 17 and, you know, she's never worn too much makeup. She wears more than me, but not a lot. She doesn't really spend too much money on herself per se, and she takes this pleasure in small things and she enjoys reading, and I feel I took a lot of that on board, and I just always grew up with the probably faulty conception that I was just going to have the same kind of life as her, you know, find a husband and have children and that would be my life, even though of course she did work around having children younger, which I obviously don't want to do. I don't want any kind of paid work, and that's not because I view myself as lazy. I just view myself as wanting to do work in the home. I want to clean and cook and do those traditional things. No, I'm not the best cook, but I know I could cook. I know it's not something that's that much of a problem, to be honest. I always had this thing, I thought, well, once I meet my husband, or, you know, my fiance, whatever, then I'm just going to ask his mom to teach me how to make, like, his favourite dishes. And that was always the plan. Obviously that never happened because I never got to have a fiance. But, yeah, so, I mean, what can you really do about that? I mean, yeah, all those images, you know, if you see on TV of traditional gypsy setups, Stepford wives, domestic goddess, 1950s housewife, the dream housewife. I've recently seen a YouTube video and a woman said she wrote a book called Stilettos in the Kitchen. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Yeah, basically that's what I envision. And so many people tell me that's not what I want and that's not how I would be happy, notably my own father. He's always been a big disbeliever in it, just probably because I excelled at school. It was always like he wanted me to have a career to support myself financially and not rely on other people. And he probably always thought I was capable of that, and other people did. But I never had much self-confidence, and basically, they don't match up with my beliefs. You know, I believe in women doing things at home, which is obviously very unpopular. And to get back to the main thread of this video, that's what makes me very different as well, because we know that most people these days view women who just want to stay at home and look after a home and their husband and their children. Society views them very negatively. It's like, that's not what you do. Women empowerment, women in jobs, women in government, you know, power to the woman. And that is not at all me. I'm not a feminist. No, it's not that I believe in the degradation of women, that they're less equal to men, less capable. It's just that I believe they have different roles. And for me, I know that if I get to be 40, 50 and I am unmarried and I'm childless, I will feel exponentially valueless as a woman. And it's not about status. No, well, it is. Yeah, it is a way and about status, but yeah, if I get to that age and it's basically a case of, yeah, no one wanted you enough to put a ring on your finger, then I'm not gonna lie, I will feel, well, as I do now, completely pointless, unfulfilled, and like something's gone wrong, because I don't understand unmaternal women. I don't understand women who don't want children. I'm not going to say I've always liked children and always wanted them. No, I basically did work experience in a kindergarten when I was 17, and I came back from that loving kids, and I ended up, yeah, you know, very much a fan of kids and wanting kids. So there's that, you know. Um, but I just, yeah, I've never understood women saying they don't want children. I know some don't, and that's fine and good on them. You should be honest, but for me, it's been like that, and I really don't believe, 100% do not believe in the do-it-all mums who try to have. Obviously, I know that you can have you can have a career and look after a home and have kids and everything, but I see the women who promote the, the do-it-all kind of mentality that women can do it all, have a very high-powered job, be brilliant at home, give lots of time to their children, and they can spread themselves out in all these ways. I'm not a believer in that personally. I'll say that. I'm not a believer in that kind of woman. I see devoting yourself to your children, especially in the first 3 years of their life, as more important. Me personally. I'm not going to apologise for my views, I'm just going to state them as they are. But yeah, that makes me very different. But hey, there's nothing I can do about that. And finally, let's just touch on my unusual opinions. So I've been different all my life anyway because of the aforementioned things, and then I just find that so many of my opinions run so against the grain and so contrary to popular opinion, and it's almost like I laugh every time another opinion occurs to me that's just so strange to a lot of people. Like, okay, let's just highlight a few. My favourite food are, and always have been, as far back as I can remember, my mum can remember, tomatoes. Yeah. Most people don't even like tomatoes at all, and yet here I am saying they're my favourite food. Wouldn't you have guessed it? But they are. Then there's the fact that, well, I say I dislike tanning, and I mean that for me personally. Obviously, I know darker skin is quite natural for, some people, and it's determined by your race and things. I'm just talking about me personally being, sort of British and having a lighter skin tone, or like how it is now, however you want to describe this, peachy. I like it to stay as it is. It's probably linked to the fact that I don't like change, and I really dislike too much heat or even any kind of varying a little bit more hot than usual, like the other day was in England. When was it? The 19th of April? No, it was far too hot. I didn't like it. I won't be out there with the oil trying to tan. When I go on holiday on a beach, you will often find me hidden under a towel and sarong, being a laughing stock to my surrounding holidaymakers, because I don't want the sun to catch me, basically. I just, yeah, personally don't like my skin going darker. My skin, I don't like the way tans look. I don't care if people think it looks healthy. I don't want to tan, and I don't want to, and I don't like the heat. I just don't like the sun at all. That's quite unusual. Chicken, everybody loves, and Nando's is a big thing in the UK. I don't like chicken. It's my absolute least favourite meat. I really don't like it. I don't like Nando's. Nando's to me is too expensive. It's all based on chicken, which I don't like. And even the mildest form of flavour, which is what the lemongrass and herb or something, is too hot for me because I'm so sensitive. People don't believe me when I say I have really sensitive mouth, but then I say sweet chili is too much for me to handle, sweet chili sauce, and then people go, okay, I believe you. So yeah, I'm that sensitive. There's my liking of my own photos and being vain. Many girls are very insecure about how they look, and if somebody has a bad photo of them, they'll make them delete it. Totally not like that. Fine with whatever you have. I'll say if a photo looks bad, but I won't care about it. I'll just let it be. My dress sense and personal style, no makeup. There's no makeup on now, as you can tell. My dress sense tends to be either that of a 90-year-old woman, like a lot, like lots of long flowery dresses, or a 5-year-old child, very pink, glittery, sparkly, fluffy girly. I do remember one party I attended when I was 21. I turned up in baby pink sparkles. And people have seen the top. I wore it to a Hot Eyes show in July, when I got a picture with Shelby Sylvester, and I basically remember completely matching the outfit that my then nearly three, or no, three, just turned 3-year-old cousin was also wearing. I was matching her because that's how childishly I was dressing. It's just the way it is, okay? So there we go, a little rundown, a little in-depth analysis of why I am different, my thoughts on it. I'm basically fine with it. I'm definitely proud of my religion. I'm definitely very happy with my traditional views because I've always had them, and that's my view of women and things. I'm not going to be like saying I don't like it when women drive, I don't like it when women have jobs. I recognise that we all have free will and choose to do what we want, but I'm talking about me and what I want in my life. And of course, my unusual opinions. What can I say about that? I don't know. I just find it funny by this point that I have opinions that are literally my opinions. I've not just randomly plucked them out of the air. It's just the genuine way I feel about things, and it just so happens to be contrary to what other people seem to think. I don't know. So there you go. My thoughts on being different. Bye.